been to Atlanta several times, once with Miss Saigon and once with Wicked, and a couple times actually with Wicked, and also with FN. And I just freaked out about seeing a bismuth in the yard.
She did.
In the outside area. That was very exciting.
It's a lot of Steven cosplayers here this year.
Yeah. It is actually crazy.
Yeah.
How many people. Like, and if it's not, you'll see someone from the front and you're like, oh, they don't have any Steven gear on. And then they turn around and there's like cheeseburger, backpack. Like, there's stuff everywhere.
I don't know if there's the same girls doing it this year, but last year, before Blue Diamond's face had even been seen, there was a Blue Diamond like on stilts, like 12 feet tall in a panel. It was amazing.
Wow.
And I saw another Blue Diamond today.
Yes, I did too.
She was of normal height.
I saw an Alexandrite today.
What?
You did?
I've never seen one.
Really?
Rebecca showed me a picture of one once.
Yeah, I saw a picture, but not one.
We collect cosplay spottings like Pokemon.
You've got to catch them all.
But we don't have to go to graveyards to get them.
That's true.
Don't you have to go to graveyards to get Pokemon? Never, I don't play. I'm sorry. I just see myself out.
They're at restaurants and parks, aren't they?
Social gatherings. Yeah, Atlanta's great. Like, I've been here once for MomoCon and once for MomoCon, and I love it. It's given a good impression for me, for sure.
It's my first time in Atlanta. I got in last night, so I'm hoping that over the course of the weekend I'll get to see all the sites. So I'm excited for that.
Got the aquarium tickets.
The aquarium.
Oh yeah, that's gonna be exciting. As far as what I've recently freaked out about, me and my handler were talking about the new Twin Peaks that came out. That's what I've been nerding out about recently.
I've been here once before, but it was for a layover for a flight, and then I was like in this weird hotel. This was like a decade ago, and this guy asked me to play chess in the elevator. It was just like weird. It was like a stranger. I decided not to. Anyway, it's great to be back in Atlanta, like not in a weird elevator with a strange man. Yeah, so far everybody's so nice. Dee Dee and I had a chance to walk around last night. The architecture is beautiful. The food's delicious, and you guys are great. So.
Hotlanta.
Yeah.
Hi, my name is Dear. I'm with Coplay Media. Are you guys playing video games right now? And if so, what video games are y'all playing?
I'm just saving up. I can't wait for Save the Light.
Oh, dude, yeah.
That's gonna be fun.
Yeah, I think we all got to do voices on it, right?
Yeah.
It was really fun. And Rebecca had a personal hand in, crafting the story for that, and it's very exciting.
You're gonna be excited when you play it.
Yeah, I heard it's already turning out to be a great game. So
I think they designed it here in Atlanta too, if I'm not mistaken.
I think
at
so.
CNN.
Oh, yeah.
I got to
Oh,
visit their
that's-
studios last year I was
Oh,
here, and
yeah.
that was really fun. For what I've been playing lately, I have not had the time I wanted to lately, so I've sort of been like just getting on Discord calls with my buddies and doing like nostalgia trips. So we would go play old games that we used to play on Skype like 5 years ago when we first became friends. So World of Warcraft, League of Legends, Civilization, just like all the staples that brought our friend group together. I've been wanting to play Mass Effect Andromeda because that's my favorite series. I have not gotten around to it yet, but hopefully soon.
Oh, I mean, the last game that I played recently was Two Lovers in a Dangerous Space Time, if anyone knows that game. But other than that, that's about it.
Do you guys have an opportunity to improvise or give your input on how a character will react when recording scenes?
Sometimes.
As the show has gone on, I feel like there's been more of that. Usually, just because we're so, like, our storytelling format is so crunched for time in 11 minutes, there's not a lot of room for deviation on the dialogue, per se. But the wording of it to, make it flow easier out of the character's mouth, certainly. And especially at sessions where, like, for example, when we were recording for the game, when Rebecca's not there, and they're not quite as familiar with, certain rules of the characters or parts of the show Bible, then we have a lot more input there. Like, well, Steven might say this instead of this, or feel this way about this, which is always fun because you have ownership of this thing you created, which is cool.
Oh yeah, they definitely for the game they let us riff at the end, which is really fun. I would say in general, I mean, just to kind of add on to what Zach's saying, the writing on the show is so good. It's not like we have to,
Right.
you know,
Yeah.
stray too much from it anyway. But certainly things that make it easier, you know, and more like in the character voice, we can improv here and there. I don't know. We get kind of zany with our reaction voices.
Yeah, that's what we play.
Efforts.
Oh,
Yeah.
those are the
Fighting
best.
efforts, yeah.
Should we do an earthquake for them?
Sure.
All
All at once.
Yeah. That became like an inside joke every time we had to do it. Like we didn't know. Like I've never been in an earthquake. I've lived in California for 10 years, and I don't know what it is. Especially in a cartoon.
I mean, I've slept through most
That's
California
been me.
earthquakes.
Yeah.
Oh,
I have not. I was there for the big one in '94.
you were?
Oh yes. I don't play video games, but I watch my kids play video games. And I try to get them off their electronics every now and again and pick up a book.
Hi, I'm Jason from Skewed and Reviewed, and I have a question about like voice acting and what's most stressful about it.
Most stressful?
Gosh, I feel like it's the stress-free job. Very stress-free job. It's so fun.
I mean, working on Steven Universe in particular is not very stressful. We have so much fun when we all get together and record.
That's true, but I think maybe you were going to say
Well,
something about.
I think, I don't know if it's stress per se, but certainly we are pressed for time. We only have X amount of time to do a whole episode every time we go in. So, yeah, there are points when, you know, you'll do 1 or 2 takes, and then maybe 2 lines after, you're like, oh, I should have done that for that. And then you get in your head a little, and every now and then you'll be like, can I go back? Like, can I do it? And if they're okay with it, you get to. But I don't know, that's sort of like, you want to bring your best to the mic, you know, every time you're there. So I would say there's a little bit of stress.
I just remembered when I recorded for It's Over, I was actually doing a show at the same time. It was called Tommy, and then it was a singing role, but it was really stressful on my voice. So I actually had to postpone my record time because my voice wasn't like perfectly intact for that particular song. And it was my biggest song to date for the show, and so like I really wanted to be, you know, at my best singing it. So that was quite stressful. And when you're stressed, your voice is like one of the first things that goes. So that could be, I guess, pretty stressful. Just to make sure you're.
I've got a song postponed right now for that very reason.
Yeah.
I've been under the weather and haven't been able to, you know, go full bore. I'm such a stickler for quality in everything that I do. I want to be able to, you know, make it sound good because it's there forever and it, you know, has my name on it. So yeah, that's for me the most challenging part of the show is puberty. Just because the voice became a lot. I used to pitch my voice down before I had a lower voice like I do now, and the voice has become very different. And it's fine when I'm in good health, but if I get even the slightest bit under the weather, that's when it becomes difficult. And I really have had to develop a lot of techniques to get around that. And I become neurotic about that in a lot of the sessions. So I'm very, like my ear is like listening for the slightest crack. So that can be stressful sometimes.
You could just take a cue from me and always sound like you're sick. So that when you're actually sick, nobody knows.
I would love that.
Yeah, you can borrow my voice.
Let's swap.
Joseph, Beach City Bugle. What are some vocal warm-ups you have, and can you please do them for us?
Whoa.
The universal one is lip trills.
Yes.
Yeah. High School Musical, Sharpay, she had partial.
Oh, yeah.
partial.
Yeah, thank you for joining me.
I didn't watch that when I was younger.
So, going through the vowels, I-E-O, just get your mouth.
Red leather, yellow leather,
Red
any
leather.
leather, any weather.
I've never heard the second half.
Yeah,
of
me
that.
neither.
There you go.
Tongue twisters are great for voiceover. I mean, it
Yeah.
really just gets your mouth moving.
I knew
Topeka Bodega.
Topeka Bodega, Topeka Bodega, Topeka Bodega.
Oh, I don't know that one.
Unique New York, unique New York, unique
Oh,
New
yes.
York.
You know you need unique New York. You know unique New York needs you.
Oh, that's actually beautiful.
Yeah, it's very poetic
Yeah,
and also
it is.
impossible
That's
to say.
uplifting.
Yeah.
I had a session once that I like all these tongue twisters prepared me for because it was literally I don't even remember what it was for. It was something very strange, like a vocal sample thing. It was all tongue twisters, like 2 hours worth of tongue twisters, and most of them, thankfully, I'd done before because I had a theater background. But it's like they had the ultimate one, which is the sixth sick sheik's sixth sick sheep was sick, and I had to do like 5 different takes of that at all different paces. It's like, what am I doing?
Yeah.
I remember a couple years back, I actually went to like a group voiceover workshop class thing, and the entire first day was just tongue twisters, which was interesting.
Yeah.
We had to do them with different emotions, like try saying Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers, but you're sad.
Acting.
Yeah.
What's the this is Zamboni from Coldplay Media. What's the best advice you can give for someone trying to break into the voice acting industry?
Time out. Your name's Zamboni?
That's right, Zamboni.
I love that.
You liked it, right?
I love that.
There we go.
Yeah.
Unique.
Just
Unique
like
New York.
Yeah.
I wasn't gonna say it.
You can always count on me to be cheesy.
You know, a lot of voiceovers as an industry, I feel like it's become more competitive, especially in recent years. It's like a trickle-down effect. So many celebrities are then moving down to TV shows, moving down to commercials. So work that, you know, used to be just for the average Joe or Jane voiceover artist is now, you know, you're fighting against, not fighting, we're not fighting, but like, you know, you're competing against some real names. So it really has become a numbers game. My advice to any voiceover artist would be, don't worry about the no's. You're gonna get no a ton, or you're gonna get radio silence. You're just not gonna hear back. But just keep putting yourself out there, and you know, eventually something will click.
It's usually a no through radio silence too.
Yeah,
Very
totally,
rarely do you get
totally.
feedback or
They
a
don't call
definite
to
no.
reject you.
Yeah.
They're just like they ghost you. Just ghost you.
Do you guys remember the name of D. Bradley Baker's website? Because
Yes, I want to be a voice actor.com.
It's he plays Lion on our show and every animal and creature in every show ever.
Yeah,
and
he was
he's
Olmec.
oh from Legend of the Hidden Temple.
Yeah.
And then number 4 on Codename Kids Next Door, which I
okay.
recently discovered was a part of my childhood. But he you know he was getting asked that question so much by just people at cons and around towns that he just made the website and linked a bunch of amazing resources. And if there's anybody that would know, it's him, because he has a very unique technique and he can do things that nobody else can do with his voice. It's all about finding your own sound.
I also think being able to do a lot of different kinds of voices is very impressive. I'm sure it's always a plus, but to embrace your natural voice as well, because a lot of times now people are wanting to hire just like your real regular voice.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. I've noticed since I've been doing voiceover definitely a shift from cartoony sounding voices to regular sounding, just the way you talk. Because if you have an interesting speaking voice, people will just want to listen to that. And a lot of the time now with cartoons, it's not as popular to have a voice that no one's ever heard before. I mean, it's still, there's always going to be a market for that, but you don't have to be able to do all these wacky sounds to become successful as a voiceover actor as well. So there's really no box.
Yeah, I think that's just a general tone in overall, commercially and theatrically, just authenticity. They just want real voices, real connection, nothing like, put it on, like they don't,
unless that's what they're looking for.
yeah.
And that goes for if you're doing a character voice too. It has to, it adds the added challenge of being authentic through a filter of not being authentically you 100%. You sort of have to do the character voice but also do you at the same time while not speaking with you. So yeah, authenticity is the name of the game no matter what voice you're doing.
That's definitely a very unique factor of Steven Universe is so emotional in so many ways, and so Connie's voice is not the same as my voice, but I still have to sound like I'm experiencing different emotions or in different states while putting on a different voice. So you have to be able to sound real, but also not. So it's a little bit of a contrast there.
A little more time for Edmund Mason, and then we will see what we have after that.
Charlie with the Chainsaw Buffet podcast, and my question is in particular for Dee and Michaela. The acting industry hasn't had the best track record with the roles it gives to actors of Asian descent or have a heritage, and I was wondering, does voice acting open up opportunities for you for roles that you might not otherwise be considered for?
I think at this point, as far as voiceovers go, I'm auditioning for anything and everything. There isn't really a specific call, unless of course there is that one, where she has to have an Asian accent, which I'm horrible at Asian accents. I mean, I was born in Portsmouth, Virginia, and so I don't have, and I didn't grow up with an accent. But yeah, I think recently I've just been submitted for anything and everything under the sun. So as far as voiceovers goes, yes, absolutely. If you're voicing a crystal gem, it doesn't really matter what you look like. You're not human. You're Asian. So
yeah, I mean, I would definitely say voiceovers in general is fairly liberating in that, the same day I auditioned to be a rock, I could also audition to be like a cool Indian chick. I don't know. Also, do you know that Grace is a quarter Asian?
Yeah, my mom is half Japanese and a quarter black. So I'm a little bit of a racial amalgam.
It's funny, I was telling Dee Dee this story yesterday because the first day that we recorded together, we were signing in at Cartoon Network, and when I saw she was going in for Steven Universe too, I was like, oh man, there's another Asian chick. Like, I didn't know we were still auditioning, because in my experience, there's like only one. You know what I mean? And then we get there and like everybody's a minority, and it was just rad. And I was convinced for a while that Zach was half Asian, but he's not. I was like, oh, we're all of color. This is amazing.
Sorry, I messed it up.
Yeah. God. But I would say, this show has done so much for so many people, but especially people of color. It's sad that it's taken like almost a whole cast to bring notice to it, but that is the one thing that I think we hear a lot. A lot of the feedback is about how Rebecca Sugar has been able to form this sort of like team of people, and it shouldn't even be about color, but it is. So.
It helps. I mean, I think it's great that Steven Universe has so much representation to kind of lots of underrepresented communities.
Yeah.
So we've had the opportunity to speak to Zach several times, and each time he's always telling these amazing stories about what happens behind the camera and all the hijinks and everything else. So I want to know from the rest of you, what are some amazing stories that you can possibly share with us of what happens when you're not voice reacting, when you guys are just hanging out, because you guys have built this team dynamic over the years of being on Steven Universe?
Oh, there's just so many. We got to hang out with Thomas Sanders off the, that was cool.
Really
that
fun.
was really fun.
In a random park, he messaged us through.
It's cement. There's construction. They're like
Wait, the park's
jackhammers.
gone?
Well, they're making it into a better park. I was gonna take a pic the other day and be like, "Yo, our dreams have been crushed," but like, it's like.
But you just crushed them like momentarily.
It's gonna be revived.
But that's that's like the nicest park in that area of town. That doesn't make any sense.
You guys don't care about any of this.
We digress.
Yeah.
Angelinos.
Have you told the marshmallow story? From like way back in the beginning.
I totally. When we had to have like the chubby bunny thing.
Yeah. There was an episode. I think it was Winter Forecast.
I think so. It was really early on.
Yeah, it was really early on. But I remember someone had to go to Rite Aid.
It was Matt Burnett.
Matt
we couldn't get an authentic like chubby bunny like
food in our mouth sound.
Marshmallow specifically.
Yeah. So we picked up jumbo marshmallows and we're just eating them during the record and talking with our mouths full, and it was really fun.
You guys are so method. Crazy. You know, we're all very different from our characters, but I think there's a reason why we were cast as those people, because there are similarities, and I would say that the dynamic between all of us, it is authentic. We really are a family. Some of my best experiences working with you guys, it's not actually behind the mic, it's when we're hanging out outside of the studio, like, you know, we'll come over to my house and we'll do a live stream, or we'll go over to like Shelby's, we'll just like...
We'll dance at a candy store.
Yeah, you know, anywhere we can
Party
bond.
at a CVS.
Yes. Love those extra bucks.
And that's not super common in animation, unfortunately, because we're, you know, Cartoon Network shows in general, a lot of them record together whenever possible. A lot of shows don't do that. I worked on a show for a while where I worked with another actor like twice in a 2-year run. And that's, you know, it worked and the show was great, but I think for this show specifically, the type of show it is and the emotion that it requires, I think having us all together whenever possible really means a lot to it.
Yeah.
I think Steven Universe was the first thing I worked on that consistently did group records. And that was a great way to bond with my castmates, because I've never really worked on anything where I developed such a close bond with the people I was working with.
Love you guys. Love you guys too. Love you guys. Yeah.
So I remember seeing your...
Yeah. I wanted to ask, what were each of you guys' like favorite subplot of the show?
Can I go? Yeah. I love Ronaldo and his conspiracy theories. I think that is like one of the funniest. So funny. And also anything dealing with sour cream and his glow sticks, I'm like on board with that.
Yeah. Any cool kid story is great.
Yeah.
Onion is my particular favorite. Just because I thought we couldn't like push the boundary any further than Onion Trade, and then we had Onion Friend, and I was like, all right. Plus, I'm biased because I do his little voices when he does them. So whenever there's an Onion episode, I get very like emotional. It's method.
I can't believe you just said that. It's crazy.
Right?
It's also
It's
Pumpkin.
controversial. Yeah, Pumpkin, all the Watermelon Stevens, Lonely Blade in the video game. We're all Crying Breakfast friends, I think.
Yes, the crying breakfast.
I can't remember which
friend.
one
I
though.
can't remember.
They just cast me as food generally.
Yeah, I think it was Pear.
Oh yeah.
Can't remember.
And we're on Camp Fighting Hearts.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yes. What was the movie Ticket girl, who I think is Ronaldo's ex?
Oh, ex-lover?
I think
What?
so.
Yeah.
I don't know that I was there for all of that record.
Oh, yeah.
That's another little subplot.
Yes.
There's so much going on in the show. I love it.
But
And
I
I
do
love Sadie's
monsters
stuff.
when,
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
when Dee's not around.
I did one of the Nightmare Hospital monsters.
Oh, you
Yeah, that was fun.
Sometimes we're all random townspeople too,
Yeah.
for like
Yeah.
Proud Walla.
Which is funny because I feel like most of the women in the booth, they'll just like alter their voices or go up higher, and for some reason I'll just go lower. Like I'll turn into these like giant men. I don't know.
All I have to do is
Use
just
that
start talking
soundbite,
as
please.
myself, and then it's,
Yeah, and then it's like done.
yeah.
Very simple.
Oh, hi, I'm Karma with Second Union, and my question, I kind of stole this. Inside, inside the actor studio, in your character voice, what's your favorite word? Favorite? Kind of kept it PG.
Do you mind if I don't answer in the character voice? I'm trying to recover from laryngitis right now.
I understand. Yeah.
Thank you. Favorite word? My favorite word or Steven's favorite word?
Oh, nice twist. Steven's favorite word.
Arrivederci.
I just saw that episode where you went undercover as an Italian guy. That is so funny.
Oh, the carnival one?
So you're like, Mamma Mia.
And then Connie is like, because you made your last name Pizzapopolis, and I was like, that sounds Greek.
Yeah.
Because I had to like step in there and be like, from a linguistics perspective.
Yeah.
That was a fun one. The whole Italian, like Steven speaking random Italian, like with correct grammar, or correct pronunciation. I speak like semi-fluent Italian, and Rebecca discovered that. She's like, oh, like, why aren't we using this? So there was the Arrivederci in one of the Jamie episodes, and then that one came along, and they gave me like a whole shtick to play with, which was, that was a hard record to get through because it was a lot of laughs.
Yeah. Oh.
What's your word?
Oh, my word. I feel like
What's the
Amethyst
word?
would have a phrase. She'd be like, motor oil buffet. Or like, you know, something along those lines.
Do you have one?
I'm trying to think. I'm trying to remember the characters from the book series that Connie loves. Unfamiliar, Familiar.
Oh, yeah.
That's all on its own fun to say.
Yeah. I loved Connie's rant where she starts talking about the authoritarian ideals and like all of the like
Political buzzwords.
Yeah, exactly. So funny.
I mean, I love saying Steven.
That's everybody's. on
yeah,
the
that
show.
is
Like,
everybody's.
they're always like screaming after him, like, "What did you do?"
In your wagon.
I pretty much sound like that talking to my kids too. I just exchange the name out. Yeah.
Have you ever yelled at one of your kids and called him Steven?
No.
I've heard her yell one of her kids' names in that same tone though.
Yeah.
And that's when I realized there's a little bit of Pearl and Real.
There's a lot of bit of Pearl. And a lot of bit of Dee Dee in Pearl. Yeah, I got the respect. Respect. So good. And strength. Strong.
In the real way.
In the real way.
Emily from VOC Nation Radio Network. I know a lot of fans are very excited an official soundtrack is about to come out.
I've heard about that for a while.
Has there been any talk, or do you guys have any interest in doing any live concerts of the soundtrack?
Sign me up. I love that idea.
Absolutely.
I love it.
We did the one at San Diego Comic-Con, which was like a panel concert, and the fan reaction was incredible. We had so much fun, and it definitely my favorite panel we've ever done.
It was
We're
also,
going on tour.
Yeah. It was also great to include the musicians who all have, you know, they're such an integral part of it.
Yeah.
So it was great to be live with them.
Yeah, and through the rehearsal process, like, it was really fun getting to spend time. Like, 'cause we don't get to see them as often as we see, like, Kent and Rebecca.
Yeah.
Especially now that, you know, Ben and Matt are working on their own cool show, and it was nice to have the gang all together.
Yeah. We got the band back.
Okay, I think we're good. That's it on time. So thank you so much for coming in. But you can't leave because now we're going to pass you over to Cartoon Network.
Okie dokie.
So you guys can hang